Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 25 of my podcast episodes, which is so exciting. I can't believe I'm up to episode 25. That's madness to me, but so good, so exciting. We're now in December and I'm getting all Christmassy now. My house is starting to get all decorated. Planning away. I love Christmas, so I'm so looking forward to it. But today I'm going to be just talking about like the importance of learning yoga philosophy, why I talk about it on my channel a lot, and kind of why it is important to learn all about it. And that's about it really for my introduction, I think, because let's just get straight into it, and I will see you on the other side. Hi, my name is Meg, and you are listening to the Wellness Musings with Meg podcast. I am a fully qualified beautician and yoga teacher who has studied and worked in health and wellness since 2017. I have been obsessed with wellness my entire life and have always wanted to share my passions more. If you love health, wellness, and yoga and want to learn more, this podcast is for you. I will be bringing you all things wellness, from diet and lifestyle to beauty tips and tricks, and of course, yoga as well. So grab yourself a green tea and find a tranquil spot, and let's jump in. So I have been teaching yoga for 5 years, and when I initially learned yoga, I actually learned asana. It was called gravity yoga, which is basically asana, so the physical practice of yoga. And in that qualification, I learned nothing about the yoga philosophy. Then I went to some yoga classes and started learning vinyasa, and again, learned nothing about the philosophy. Not my teacher's fault at all. She didn't know I was interested in it. She didn't even know that that was something I wanted to do. And I think as a teacher, it is important to teach your students that the philosophy is there, so they're aware of it, that they know that there's more to it than just the asana, but it's not about ramming it down your students' throat and forcing them to learn about it, because especially in the Western world, most of the time your students will be coming to you because they want to learn like how to stretch and they want to see the physical benefits, rather than like a yogi like me who pretty much dedicates their life to it, practicing, the yamas, niyamas, pranayama, journaling about it. Literally, my whole life revolves around yoga, not just the asana, but the whole lot. But if you are someone who is learning yoga and maybe wants to learn a little bit more, I do think it's really important that you learn the philosophy behind yoga. And this is why. If you're someone who really is only interested in stretching, absolutely perfect. Like, just go to your yoga classes, but there is a big difference between yoga and stretching. I often get so many people say to me, what's the difference between Pilates and yoga? And until I learned about the philosophy of yoga, I could not answer this question, because in my mind, I was like, well, they're both exercises. Like, what defines one from the other? There's a big definition, there's a big thing that separates them. Working out, stretching, Pilates is very two dimensional. This is the analogy I say. It is very two dimensional. It's about your body and that's it. It's about strengthening your muscles. It's about a bit of flexibility. That's it. Yoga is about your mind, your body, and your spirit. And you can take that however you want to take it. It's not a religion. I am sick to the back teeth of people saying that yoga is a religion. Yoga, yes, is part of Hinduism, but if you practice yoga, it does not make you Hindu. It does not mean that you are religious. You can do yoga without religion. You can do religion and bring yoga into it. And I do think that's an important thing to remember, because I think that puts people off sometimes, as they think that if they learn yoga properly, that they have to like become a yogi and worship gods and things like that. And I mean, you can do if you're a Hindu, or if you support, or if you're in a different religion and you want to worship your god and bring yoga into it, you can do. But yoga is about eliminating the suffering from the mind, the body, and the spirit. And that's what you need to take away from yoga: the mind, the body, and the spirit, not just the body. And this is why philosophy is important, because technically, if you're doing your asana, yes, I do think asanas, the physical practice of yoga, I do think you get more out of it than potentially Pilates or a general workout, because the asana of yoga has been around for so many years and it's been so well thought out and so well done that it is, I think, better than anything else exercise wise that you can do. It is just perfect for everybody, because you can have it at any level. You can make it as difficult or as hard as you want. You can use it to, if you wanted to tone up, you can use it for that. If you want to gain flexibility, you can use it for that. It kind of realigns the body as well. Like yoga asana is fantastic. But if you're truly wanting to learn yoga, you need to be learning the philosophy behind it. Even if you don't necessarily practice it, I think it's important to learn it, because it is diminishing. Like in the Western world, it scares me how many people do yoga. I say with like bunny ears, the air quotes, but they're not actually doing yoga because they don't understand that yoga isn't just about the body. And I think it kind of does a little bit of a disjustice to the originalities and the traditions of yoga if you don't learn, at least have some sort of knowledge or be aware that there's more to yoga than just movement, um, because it can do so much more for you. And it's something that shouldn't, like the Western world should not be taking this thing called yoga, which is like a really sacred, beautiful practice, and then changing it to kind of fit their narrative. That doesn't work. Like you can't take, yoga isn't a religion, but you can't take a religion and then change it to fit the narrative of that. It's that the religion is the religion. Yoga is yoga. Yoga has your 8 limbs. Yoga has a history. Yoga began in India, and you can't change that because it doesn't fit your narrative in the Western world. So I do think it's really important to learn about the philosophy in yoga. In the new year, I'm going to be teaching a lot more about like beginners yoga, beginning philosophy, because I want people to be aware of it. There's a lot of things on my channel already that talk about it, but this is just an episode to kind of, if you're not aware that there's this extra part to yoga, it's not the end of the world. There's so many people that do this. There's so many people that don't know. Even teachers. I've even met teachers that are actually unaware that the whole philosophical side of yoga and like what it is. And I was one of them. Like I got my qualification and was legally allowed to teach yoga, and I didn't even know exactly what it was. Like I wasn't even taught the specifics of what yoga was, which I mean, I disagree with now that I know what I know. But back then, naivety, I didn't realize that I didn't know what I didn't know that I didn't. Oh, I'm trying to say something that I don't understand. But like, I didn't know that I didn't know that. Now I know what I know. It should have been different. But, you know, by the by, it doesn't matter. It depends what you're looking for as a yoga teacher. Like, if you're working in a gym, maybe you just want it to be like more of a stretching class. And yeah, but I do think if you want to learn yoga properly, or even if you're just learning yoga a little bit, I think it's important to be aware of what yoga is, because it's something to genuinely marvel at. The in-depth knowledge, how much it's linked, everything is linked, like it's so incredible. Yoga is amazing. The founders of yoga, I mean, it was founded over many years and it evolved in India over many years, but it is just incredible. Like the beginnings of it, what it went through, how the history in India changed it, how like we've changed it in the Western population, which some of it is for good, some of it maybe not quite so much for good. But I think it's worth being aware of this. It's worth being aware of a bit of the Indian history as well, and understanding what this beautiful sacred tradition went through. Yeah, and just having a bit more knowledge and understanding of yoga philosophy. Yoga is not just about moving your body. Yoga is so much more than that. And that is what makes yoga special. That is what sets it apart from all other exercise, is that it's not a religion. It's not, and it is an exercise, but it's not, it's so much more than that. There's so much more to it. and you get so much out of it for your body, for your mind, for everything. It's about healing. Yoga is about being the best possible version of yourself, whatever that is. Like, it is about finding and being the best version of yourself. So if you are someone who is unaware about what the philosophy of yoga is, maybe you've started a yoga journey, maybe you've been doing yoga a while and didn't even realize that this was a thing, please have a little look into it, learn the basics. I think the best way to start is learning about Patanjali and the 8 limbs of yoga. Very easy to start. Find out what the 8 limbs of yoga are and learn what they mean, what they are. You don't necessarily have to practice them, but it's just having a basic level of understanding so that you can understand the culture it came from, you can understand the journey it went through, you can understand why it's so important. This part of yoga is something that is really important not to lose, which is why, as a teacher, I think it's important that people are aware of it. And as students, if you're practicing yoga, why you should be aware of it. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Um, yeah, if you want me to send any good links, good podcasts, good books about learning the philosophy of yoga, pop it in the comments and I can kind of send you some ideas of where to go and find and where to go and look. I have got a few philosophy videos on my channel. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope that this inspires you to have a little look through what yoga really is and about the philosophy and about all the different parts and where you can go with yoga. And yeah, yoga is more than just your body, it's about your whole being, it's everything. And that's incredible. Like, we have this incredible tool that eliminates suffering from the mind, the body, and the spirit. So it literally helps you become the best version of yourself. It's thousands of years old. It's just, yeah, we're so lucky. We are really, really lucky to still have this around, to have the knowledge, to have the teachers. And it's an important thing not to lose. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it's inspired you. I hope it's helped you or it's taught you something. And I look forward to speaking with you next week. We're going to start talking a little bit more about Christmas, wellness throughout Christmas, the new year. That's the kind of vibe we're going for the next few podcast episodes. Thank you so much for watching, and I will speak to you all next week. Thanks. Bye.